my goal has always been to find the alternatives to toxic technology and to find something that could, by a natural basis, can increase our yields and quality of what we produce. And that's from soil fungi all the way up to plants and animals and humans. So over the years, I've worked with organic fertilizers, which were the whole idea of organic fertilizers was controversial back in the 60s and 70s. It was just getting its start, but didn't have any credibility from, let's say, ag colleges or universities. And yet I grew up around the Amish and Mennonite communities in southeast Pennsylvania, where my family had been farming for since 1730s. And so I knew that natural methods work. Plus, a lot of people were biodynamic. I got interested in biodynamics, making biodynamic compost, and I farmed on a family farm while I was still attending the University of Delaware College of Agriculture. And so I have a little bit different perspective. It's about getting results, and then I became a consultant entomologist, plant pathology, and soil agronomy, soil nutrition, because I started out as an entomologist and giving people pest management and IPM, biocontrol. And what I found in working with growers, especially seed crop growers, which were concerned with quality, is there was a tie-in between these plant diseases and even insect damage and something they were putting on the soil. As an experiment we did with humic acids, which we didn't know what it was. It was good samples from New Mexico. It started with pot trials and greenhouses and worked up to field trials. And the results were impossible to dispute. They were obvious. And in the case of my first trial with seed potatoes, was insect damage on the untreated side, and the treated side with 250 to 300 pounds of raw New Mexico humate was free of insects, insect leaf damage, feeding damage, which was extensive on the untreated side, right to the row. Plus, the leaves were larger, darker, plants were taller, yield was higher. That started the whole thing for me. Because if adding something to the soil could eliminate insect problems, that is a huge thing. And at the time, humic acids were considered nonsense and worthless, and even snake oil. But the results were obvious. People kept buying it, and now, 50 years some later, we have the largest retailers in the United States of agricultural input products selling humic acids. Before they called them snake oil, as did academia. But now we know why they work, and we're getting closer, or I'm getting closer, to why we saw humic acids affect insect damage or insect feeding, which seemed to be a breakthrough. That I've been working on that for years. Now with molecular genetics, molecular biology, and advanced biochemistry and DNA, bioassays, and all the new stuff we have, we now know that it's affecting pathways, specific biochemical pathways that activate resistance in plants and animals, and also produce either insulin-like reactions or in plants hormone-like or auxin-related or natural biostimulation. In other words, there's switches that are thrown that give the plant resistance and also jack up its own production of biostimulants. And so getting the plant ready for stress, insect attacks, and also signaling the plant that the soil conditions are good and favorable, and so it can just go completely grow as fast as it wants, no limitations. So in the USDA ARS research with the what they call TOC 9, which I call Vocagrow, which is a Glirocladium, a spherospermum strain, and it's basically turning on all those switches just by the plant at the seedling stage for 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, really 3 weeks, being exposed to the VOC in fairly minute amounts. And so I've worked up a method of doing that that's simple. Now, we're getting the same results or very similar results as we get from the biostimulants, and that includes humic acids, kelp, aminos, and a few other things. So we are seeing that effect, but for a fraction of the cost, and without the mining, the diesel fuel, the transportation costs, and all the other handling and application. It's really a lot. And when you think about it, and I'm in the business, I mean, we have BioEgg, Faust BioEgg, we make biostimulants and humic products, and I've been working in the industry for 50 some years. And so mining is, okay, I'm not against mining. I'd be a hypocrite. I work for mining companies. But on the other hand, as a scientist, as an agroecologist who studied geology, I think there are better ways, and I think fungal biomass and the world's cheapest chemists are the fungi, and we can put them to work, and that's what we're doing here, and this can help a lot of people. That the biostimulants now are conventional and even approved as plant beneficial substances by AFCO. So we're in a new era now where biostimulants are being accepted, but the cost is high, the transportation is high. Can't be used by the poorest farmers. They don't have any access to it. How can we help them? How can we create that? Well, I think that the Vocagrow Glirocladium fungi is a black soil fungi, and I think it's responsible for partially for creating the effects that humic substances, humic acid, peat, etc., compost provide. And in hydroponics and indoor farming, greenhouses, you don't get that effect. You're in a sterile environment. So you have to coax the plants along and rescue them with fungicides and lots and lots of fertilizer and worrying about diseases. Believe me, I worked as an IPM practitioner and consultant, licensed consultant in California, and in greenhouses too, production herbs and just about everything else. So, yeah, you would maybe need, you would need a fraction of the chemicals inputs. So that's the first market, and it's quite simple in many ways. And this can really increase the food production of the world at a low cost. It can benefit whole communities, individual farmers, the health of the soil. It's not necessarily a great investment for big companies. It just doesn't work in that model. And in fact, they'll resist it because it's turning into a multi-billion-dollar industry selling biostimulants. When the effects that I'm observing and have been documented, not just me observing it, USDA published research, published in journals, peer-reviewed from all over the world, show the benefits, including this 200% biomass that did on tobacco. So I think there's better plants to use it on than tobacco. And so the world deserves this, and we need to protect it. We need to found a foundation, and we need to put it in there and do research and development and bring this to the world, because I have worked for some major companies in the agricultural chemical industry as a custom field researcher, and I've seen amazing things done with fungal biopesticides that I did as contract research that had incredible benefits, like controlling spider mites, one of the worst problems in strawberries and so many crops. And I won't go into that now, but the point of it was I did the research, I got paid for it, and then they filed it away, never to be heard of again. Because they didn't feel like they could make money from it. Plus, it competed with a lot of their stuff that is the real profit center. So they didn't go ahead with it, even though it's very effective. See, but that's effective isn't their kind of effective. Effective for the industry or most businesses is it, when I say, is it effective? They said, oh yeah, we make good profits on that. Many times I've heard that. I ask you about our products. Are our products doing the job? And I want to hear about how they did with the farmers. What kind of yield increase? And they said, oh yeah, we're selling a lot of it. So success for the retailer or the farm service people is different than the success for the farmer. And I think it's time to worry about the farmer and the soil, and not the profit margins of multinational corporations. We've got to get off that track and solve real problems. And sometimes they just don't make money, so then we got to come up with another way. And so that's the idea of the foundation to do the research on the VOCs and the vocal grow, and to commercialize it and protect it, promote it, educate the public, because that's not going to happen. I'm working in this industry a long time. I've seen lots of good products come and go, and basically I know why. I know what the problem is. Problem isn't making the product work or anything like that, or manufacturing it. That's not a problem. And the problem is the education and the knowledge and getting people to use it and understand it. Right now, when I talk VOCs with people, it's outside the box a long way in most growers' imagination, even, let alone experience. So something like that, it takes time. And even though it's incredibly inexpensive and it could be used by everybody, it only make them money. That has to be developed, and it has to be, education has to be done, and that's where the foundation comes in. So let's hope that we can go beyond. We have the scientific proof and data and evidence. We have the use. We know it's beneficial. It's well established, practical, inexpensive. What it isn't is something that you can make a killing on, like Roundup or some kind of persistent petrochemical that you can patent. That's not to say it won't pay for itself. It will. But the people that really decide what's going to happen are really the people with the capital that control the capital. And if it tends to conflict with one of their big profit centers, well, they're certainly not going to invest in it. But many individuals could invest in it and do some good for the world. And we got to get off the track of the one-track mind set of profit over everything. Because without food production and health, you may not have anything. So this is Robert Faust, and that's my statement of why it's crucially important that this fungal VOC technology using the vocal grow and similar compounds be established and instituted, and needs to be protected by foundation.